Click subscribe to get daily Manchester United content from Passionate Reds, only on All For United.
Hello everybody, and do not adjust your screens. John Foster has not got 10 times better looking, but welcome to All For United and welcome to Anything Goes. Now, we're going to start off on a little bit of a serious note tonight before we get started on everyone's topic, before they want to discuss whatever they want to discuss. In a couple of months, there's a charity game going on in my local area. Urmson Meadow side are going to be playing. It's just a local team that I used to play for when I was a kid. And we're going to be doing a charity game at Trafford FC's ground, which is one of my local clubs, very close to my hometown. My friend's dad died last year, and we're all going to be playing for the British Heart Foundation. The link will be in my pinned tweet and should be in the description below after this video goes out. So if you could all retweet, if you could all donate if possible, and if you're really very local to Trafford in Urmston, come and watch me get the shit kicked out of me because I'm quite fat now, so that'd be quite fun to watch. But anyway, on with the show. I'm sure you're all very excited because it's the last game of the season and we can all get rid of this shit show of the season. Stu, let's try and keep it light-hearted tonight. I know I'm not the best host for that kind of thing, but Stu, what's your topic that you want to discuss tonight?
Well, I was going to do mine last because I'm completely light-hearted because I'm going to talk about grip socks. And as a current player and as a former player, when I grew up, grip socks were nowhere to be seen. And I tried a pair a few weeks ago for the first time. And bearing in mind, I'm 52, and grip socks have been around for a while now. And I tried a pair for the first time because everyone was telling me, although, by the way, I'm a Copa Mundial and a Adidas World Cup man, and Neil will know they're the only boots to be discussed. No other boots to ever mention, just those. Fit you like a glove, and you have to do the old school way of molding those to your feet, and that's to sit in a very hot bath and pour some hot water. And what they do after about 20 minutes, they dry and they mold to your feet. And mine are absolutely perfect. But somebody said, even so, try a pair of grip socks. Now, I used to be a 2 pairs of socks man. So one pair of socks, shin pads, another pair of socks. I don't know why. My shin pads are about that big. Neil, I know, old school shin pads. Never subscribed to the new fangled ones with socks and all that kind of nonsense, old school. But with the grip socks, I've gone down to, or did go down to one pair. So I was just.
Are we still coming to you at the end there, Stu, or we go into your topic because you've spoken?
Well, I've got to do it now, haven't I? So I'm trying to give you a live light. So I'm really interested to know if any of you guys ever played with grip socks. Do you prefer 2 pairs of socks, grip socks? Did it depend what type of football boot you're wearing, molded or studs? Or you're just old school like me and Neil, don't give a damn. You just wear socks and that. But my experience of grip socks were they weren't particularly brilliant on my feet. I had a couple of issues with my heels. It's probably because of my age, to be fair, but we'll gloss over that. Although I didn't slide in there so much, I didn't feel I got the freedom within the boot of my foot. So my striking, I couldn't really feel the ball properly. And Neil will tell you that the beauty of Copa Mundials and World Cups are they're super soft on the toe and you can feel them. And I think it's because my foot wasn't allowed to drift slightly forward. So that's my topic. It is a gripping topic, I tell you. And I'm just interested to see what you guys think.
Should we come back to that at the end, or should we just go with it? Because I thought we were going to come back at the end and then Stu spoke for 5 minutes about it. So go on, John. What do you think about grip socks? You're on mute, mate.
Mute. Oh, let me mute myself.
Oh, yeah. I've never worn them and I never intend to wear them. So, yeah.
Mr. Ton, what do you reckon?
As for socks,
I can't believe I'm presenting a frigging Manchester United show and talking about socks. I know the season's been bad, but Jesus.
Well, for me, it's like what? Well, it depended on the boot. Some boots I would wear 2 pairs, and it depended on how the boot felt. If it felt like I needed to wear that extra pair of socks to make it feel that I had that nice feeling on the ball. Then it just varied really for me. It just varied on the boot really, because every boot fit different for me. Really.
Go on,
Socks.
Neil. What do you reckon? You old school, or are you going to start wearing these socks? Do you know what? I'm just going to unmute yourself. There you go. Unmute yourself.
I wear gripper socks in bed, but I think that might be a topic for another show. I'm pretty certain
That's the Sunday
York
show.
United. Yeah. So, Old Forest have just scored it, equalised now. Oh no, it's called off. Personally, when I used to play, and it is Mundials, World Cup, that's the list, that's it. I used to, and one of the kit men who looked after us used to drive me insane because I used to play barefoot, which I know a lot of pros do. I know Cantona was famous playing barefoot. So my boots, same thing. I used to soak them in a bucket before a game and then just put them straight on because you got a better feel for the ball and stuff. I was never a two-sock man. And I'm definitely way too old for gripper socks. At the moment, I'm not even allowed out the bloody house, so gripper socks would be a right waste of chuffing time. So I thought it was a bit of a fad, a bit like these noseband things that everybody started wearing. So someone's obviously made a lot of money out of them, is what I would suggest. Someone's made a shed load of money out of them. So we'll see.
Yeah, Ahmed. We've got 52 minutes left of the show. So try and keep it less than that if you can.
Short and sweet. They're good. What else do you expect? If players wear it, players wear them. And yeah, they have the rubber bits at the end. You don't feel like you're slipping your. It's like, let's say you wore shoes a little too big. You can feel your foot moving in between the gaps. The grip socks just help you stay planted 9% of the time. So, yeah, they do exactly what they say on the tin, really.
Right, I'm going on to my topic. Jesus. For the two viewers.
No more sock talk, please.
Look, we've got 13 viewers gripped by grip sock.
No more talk about underwear and undergarments, please.
I've heard worse jokes doing broadcasting. I can't handle any more of this. Please, no more gripped talk. Let's talk about this.
Well, just check out Jarvis's comment there, Cal. Put Jarvis's comment up.
There we go. Worst thing about football is when your favourite pair of shoes fall apart because they're always perfect right before they fall to pieces.
He's bang on. He's right.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Dear.
When the boots are falling, that's when they're good.
You've opened a Rich Seymour pair.
To be fair though, mate, the copper Mundials are always the best ones. They're made of leather and they weigh about 14 ton. You feel like you're kicking a suitcase around.
No, they.
Oh, you got ankle weight.
They look after you.
Right, I'm coming
I've just ordered my new pair. I need a new pair. I've had 10 years. They've just gone, so I've just ordered a new pair.
Right. Well, let's move on anyway. As Ben said in our chat, you're not coming on against you.
Oh, okay.
I have a little bit of a theory. I've probably mentioned it before. I'm very excited about Ten Hag coming in. Can't wait to see what he can do. Hope he gets the right players. It seems like the structure's improving. Seems like the coaches with McLaren and his assistant at Ajax, I can't remember his name at the moment, is Mitchell something. It seems like there's quite a few good changes. I'm still very sceptical due to one reason, and I think we can all guess it's probably the owners. Is everybody excited and disagree with me that I'm being too negative and too pessimistic and sceptical? Or are we finally turning the corner? What do you reckon, Stu?
No, I look. There comes a time where you've just got to completely return the page and start again. We've had to do that on 4 or 5 occasions throughout the history of our great club, and me and Neil have seen it. And this is why me and Neil are probably a little bit more relaxed about it, because we've seen it all before. You know, we've seen some great managers and we've seen some absolute dross, but great coaches. It's one of those. And for me, I think there was a lot in the press just recently about Ten Hag coming. and how he's going to sit on the bench at Palace, and that was never going to happen. He's probably still
complete crap on it. It was never happening. That was it.
He's probably still in Amsterdam. Yes, he's working, but he could do that from afar. To get rid of pretty much everyone is probably the right move on this occasion. I don't think it was when Sir Alex left. I think Moyes made a huge mistake by removing the backroom team. I think if he kept the backroom team, I'm not saying Moyes would be with us today, but he'd have had a better chance of making a success of it. He decided not to do that. I think Ten Hag's approach for me is going to be exceptionally methodical. You're going to see a methodical type of manager. You're going to need somebody who won't make a rash decision. He's going to sit back and he's going to look at the bigger and the wider picture. And I think it will take him a while to get the types of players that he wants. It's going to take him a while to move out the types of players that he wants. We all know that we need to remove 14 or 15 players. It was never going to happen. And I think he'll only ever bring 3 in, maybe 4 at a push. What those players are, I don't know. At this point in time, I wouldn't pay any attention to who we're being linked with, because our boards have never been, since Fergie left, have never been, ahead of the game. And I'm not really sure they're ahead of the game at the minute, so I wouldn't really pay much attention to that. But for me, I was talking to my lad about it today, actually. And, for the first time, I've heard him excited about Manchester United and a manager. Mourinho didn't bother him too much. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't bother him too much. But he's a young fan. He's only 21. So he's for the here and now. He's not from where myself and Neil have been. So to see my lad excited is great. He's talking about what Van der Gaag. Is it Van der Gaag or
it's Van der something like that. I just didn't want to get his name pronunciation wrong.
Jakey thinks that on a match day he will be up in the stands to have a wider view of it. McLaren will be on the bench. That's something him and his mates have discussed. I quite like the idea of that. It's a little bit like an American football way of doing it. I think that was something that was employed in Ajax. So for me, I'm really quite looking forward to it. I'm keeping my expectations low. I think there's no doubt that we've got a serious manager on our hands and a serious coach on our hands. And I just hope that the toxic fan base that we've got gives him that time and that opportunity to do something. So for me, absolutely looking forward to it. Renewed my season ticket, year 29. So I might go to 30 and then hand it over to Jakey. I haven't decided yet. But
yeah. I don't like you at the minute, because I tried to get a season ticket and there was none available. So I have to wait another season to try and get one.
Well, mine comes expensive, Cal.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I tend to go to most of the games because I have lots of friends at Man United, don't I? So.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I think you're right to be excited. I think it's right to both be excited and still a little bit sceptical. I think a lot of fans are probably feeling the same. I do wonder how much will change. I know at least 6 are leaving. I reckon I could probably see 2 more leaving as well as that. So with that being the case, there's a sizable change coming in this squad. And I do hope, I saw the comment a second ago, I think it's how some of the players and possible new players and young players that do make that step up into the first team respond to him, respond to his methods, respond to his managerial man management style. There's so much to kind of look forward to. But ultimately, we need to wait before there's any kind of serious judgment on him. And I think that's at least 2 years away. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I saw some quotes before. I think it was from Danny Blind, and he was saying like, Ten Hag is obviously a serious coach, but you've got to have the right structure in place behind him. Obviously, there's been a lot of people leaving their jobs in recent weeks, and that kind of thing have been involved in the failures of the club particularly since Fergie retired. But it's about ensuring that you get the right people in place to replace them as well, to make sure that he is supported as best as possible. Obviously, him getting down to work to, instead of taking a holiday straight away, that's obviously very encouraging. it tells us that he knows that he's got a massive job on his hands, and he gave an interview the other day where he was like, I could have had easier jobs. I knew this is the one. If he is to somehow turn it around, this is what will pretty much define him as a manager, a football manager, the next few years, how he does it at United pretty much. And he understands the big job he's got on his hands, and he recognises there's no time to waste, and he needs to get to work. And like you say, next season you will still get some inconsistent results. We're not going to be challenging for anything major. Maybe, if we're in Europa, we might have a chance in that, maybe the League Cup or something. But aside from that, we're not going to be anywhere near the top of the league or anything like that. We'll have a battle probably to get in the top four. So, we will get inconsistent results. But so long as you begin to see an identity where we are, where you begin to see progress developing, hopefully within 2-3 years, we'll be looking at it and thinking, well, he's getting us back challenging. But yeah, you have to be patient.
Yeah, no, I'd go along with that. Mr. Tom, what do you reckon?
Well, I think every fan is excited for the direction, but like what you said, as for the owners and it's about accountability, isn't it? And because I got a lot of family members that are Liverpool fans, for example, and there was once upon a time they hated the Liverpool. There was once upon a time they hated the Liverpool owners, and a lot of them still do, but they're running things as the right structure and doing things correctly. People don't complain as much about the owners, innit? And that was the problem with our owners. They didn't give anyone any accountability. No one got sacked for performing bad in their position, and that was one of the problems there. They just left a man in charge to run the club poorly, which was Woodward, and there was no accountability. And it seems like now they've given the reins over, and we're seeing a bit of accountability at the moment, and that's
sorry to interrupt though, mate. Was
no problem
running it poorly in the Glazers' eyes though?
No, that's the thing.
In a way, he was making the money and he helped them buy the club, and if anything, in their eyes, he was probably doing a brilliant job. Whereas,
as in the money side of it, he was doing a good job. As in the money side of things, and there's a lot of evidence to back that up, but performance and structural and on the pitch now, poorly. And that's what's led to them, even though everyone talks about the Ralph consultancy, the Glazers actually have their own consultancy as well. They're getting consulted by somebody else because they're realizing this. And literally that's what's happening. I think the guy's name, I think it's Mick Ford, who used to be at Chelsea. So he's consulting the Glazers right now. So there is signs that they're, we effed up. Do you know what I mean? So let's see what happens, really.
You're right in terms of the evidence that he made. He did well financially up until a point, though. I think. I mean, after probably the likes of 2017, I think there was quite a lot of evidence to suggest he was awful at his job in the financial sense as well. Really, we were making big sponsor deals, but once 2017 hit, there was a leveling out of a lot of money coming into the club, and it wasn't an increase. It started to level and even decline at United. So, although you are right, to be fair, mate, I just think it's not as simple as that at some stage. And the fact that he stayed in his job as long as he did is a crime in itself for the Glazers, as well as
accountability. That's what I was like. Accountability.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he didn't in the Glazers' eyes. He probably didn't need that for so long, but for everyone else starting to notice the decline in money coming into the club, that's where the accountability didn't come into it, really. So you are right, mate. Yeah, Neil, what do you reckon?
Well, it's got so bad. I mean, I think we're all agreed. This
is on being skeptical or excited as well. I don't want to make this a Woodward conversation.
I'm not I'm not overly one or the other, to be honest. I think you sort of get a bit numb to it after you've, like I'm echoing a lot of what Stuart said. The way I would look at it, that, if let's hope that this is rock bottom, but there is a potential that things could get slightly worse while he's trying to implement his way and his structures. This isn't going to happen overnight. I mean, this could be 5, 6 years, could be 4 good transfer windows. Like you said, Callum, there's an enormous wage bill that needs to be, like you say, 8, 10 players could go out, and that brings a lot more money into the pot in terms of wages. I think from the Glazers' point of view, and I'd love to change the owners, but the only way they're going to get a return on their investment is by success on the field, because then that'll ramp up the share price. So there'll be more money coming in, and they can pay themselves bigger money.
Which
so
is
the only way,
to think, isn't it, how they don't understand that? It's crazy, really.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what I'm saying is it come to the point, and we might have fallen on the answer in Ten Hag, but I'm sort of prepared to. What worries me, and I've said it before on AFU, is if we lose 6 of the first 10 games, our toxic fan base will want him hung, drawn, and quartered and dragged through the streets of Manchester. But he's going to take him, let's be honest, 3 years maybe to sort of get us challenging into the. It might get us 3. It might take 2 years to get us back in the Champions League, because the rich will get richer out of that, and we're way off the pace. I mean, personally, I don't even want us to go in this Europa Conference crap. Just say, right,
I don't think anyone does, to be fair, Neil.
No, but that's what I mean. Just get out of it. Stop the games, those wasteful games that are going to be, and concentrating on building a proper squad, a proper structure, and at least let's make it look like we're trying to compete. Because at the moment, we're just not. And it's been bloody hard work at the moment being a Man United fan. I mean, it really, really has been. But now this is the point. I love the fact that he's turned it in the Ajax or whatever we call them early. And like Stuart said, I mean, I'm just echoing what Stuart said. He'd be looking at this from afar. I'm hoping he's been looking at the club for quite a few months, just to see what the carnage is going to walk into. So I'm quite cool about it, quite resigned about it. Let's wait and see what happens. But I hope to God he gets the back in. I hope he's got proper assurances that they're going to do it the way he wants to, because clearly he has a system that he's had success with, and that needs to be implemented at United. So he must get carte blanche. So whether he's going to get that, God knows. The signs are good at the moment. The signs are good. So
yeah, I think with the new structure possibly coming in place, I think there's a bit of an inkling to believe that hopefully his insurances are coming true. Ahmed, what do you reckon, mate?
Tough one. I don't think I can really add more than what's already been said. Might slightly be distracted by a championship playoff semi-final shootout, but no. In short, just gotta hope the next few months he's got his plan in place. He's obviously been able to get the people he wants into the coaching staff. The structural changes look good, so clearly John Murtaugh's doing the job he has to do. And realistically, I can't complain too much, really. I think there's room to improve in every aspect. The squad needs to be motivated next season to push for more than just top 4. If they can, if they can't catch City or Liverpool next year, that's fine. At the end of the day, you're not gonna build Rome in a day. No one expects United to be right up there from the very beginning. They should their name alone should allow them to be in contention in the first place. But in reality, we're miles behind. I'm not really wanting to look through rose-tinted glasses at this point. So my only hope and wish is that he makes the right signings, the right players come in, the right the right ethos is put in through the team, the belief runs through the squad. It won't be great at the start, but as long as it improves towards the end of the season and we're there and thereabouts, I wouldn't complain too much. But fundamentally, we should aim to go far in Europe and get to a domestic cup final next year. That's the least I would hope for.
Oh, that's been our target for God knows how many years at this stage. Neil, go on. You make what's your opinion that you want to get across tonight?
Right. I've mentioned it. I've talked about this one before. I'm pretty certain I have. the goalkeeping situation, I think I'm not denying that De Gea's had a fantastic season, and it's arguable to say he's probably he could be the player of the year just solely on consistency, because I mean he's been absolutely terrific. What I'm sort of saying is the fact that moving forward, is he the type of goalkeeper for Ten Hag? He likes keepers who can use their feet, and De Gea, as brilliant as at shot stopping, he ain't very good with his feet. And we've also got, and I'm a big fan of Henderson. I think I'd said a couple of years ago that I thought we should have, I mean, I got this slightly wrong, that we should have got rid of De Gea at that point. And ever since then, he's just been absolutely fantastic for us.
Has he?
But, well, no, in terms of his shot stopping, you know,
He's
he's made some ricks. Yeah, he's made some ricks, but he done it. He's probably because of the defence in front of him, he's getting a lot of work. But I would personally, if it was up to me, I'd probably get rid and because the club is in such a bad state, it's going to be a long-term project. This is how long term. You wouldn't sign a goalkeeper of De Gea's age. The fact that Henderson, what is he, 24, 25? So he could be potentially a keeper for 10 years. So I would personally, and I've said it before, but even though De Gea's been great this season in patches, I would be quite happy if they could sell him. Problem is, he's on a massive wage, so they'd have to take a hit there. But I feel that moving forward, that Henderson is the mid to long term goalkeeper that we need.
Just before we carry on, guys, I just want to say a big thanks to Blakey_78 United. Just getting his comment up here. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Really appreciate that for the channel. One of the best things to happen to United is Woodward going. We're starting to be run like a football club, and Ten Hag has to have time and patience from the fans. I'd agree with everything there, really. I'd like to think he would be given the patience from a majority of fans. You are going to see certain people who now work for TalkSport chat rubbish. Oh. But, don't just ignore them and do give him time, because he's a seriously good manager, and I think it is worth the patience, and hopefully he can take us back to the top. But thanks again for that, mate. Really appreciate it. Stu, what do you make of Neil's point there about De Gea?
Yeah, look, Neil's 100% right, and Neil knows my opinion. So do you, and so does John. I don't know if Mr. Tom does. I don't think we've spoken about De Gea when we've been on the show, and same with Ahmed. But I've been really vocal for months about the problem that our centre halves are having with De Gea, and there's no denying that De Gea has been superb this season as a shot stopper, but as an all-round goalkeeper. It's hard for me to say, but he lacks so much, and I'm not a goalkeeper, but I know what I need from a goalkeeper as a centre half. And for me, you've got to be brave. You have to be commanding. You've got to be vocal, and you've got to be brave. And unfortunately, again, as Neil said, as good as De Gea is and has been with his shot stopping, and he probably is up there for player of the season, which is ridiculous, he's not what we need as a goalkeeper. I don't think he's what Eric Ten Hag's going to want either. I think Henderson is our answer. I've always thought Henderson's been our answer, but I just want to refer you guys back to last season where we finished second, and the defensive partnership of Maguire and Lindelof. The bulk of that season, and we had such a good defensive record that season, was because Henderson was in goal, if you remember. Now, a lot of people were saying towards the end of it, well, you know, he had that issue with when we got beat 3-1 by Liverpool, Salah's goal in particular. But I don't think we knew that he was carrying a hip injury at that particular time. So, and I think that's hampered him starting this season. I think that gave Ollie a bit of a problem. Plus, De Gea was obviously making waves to come back early from holiday, etc., to try and regain his position. So I think Henderson's the right move. We are going to need probably another goalkeeper. Now, whether we bring in somebody of experience or we kind of make Heaton our number two. I don't have a problem with Heaton. I think Heaton's a great goalkeeper. I don't think he should be a number three at Manchester United. He could be playing lower level for Premier League football or even high level Championship football. So he's made this choice to come back. I don't like the idea of getting Sam Johnson in.
I don't.
But for me, I would start with Henderson next season, and I would sell him. I think Neil's right. I think let's get 375 grand off the wage bill. Henderson's on 110. It's a phenomenal amount of money. So I'm with Neil on that. Yeah, 100%.
John, what do you reckon? I think everyone knows my thoughts on De Gea. He's been a good servant for us, but I think respectfully, I think it's time to move on. I'd always be thankful and grateful for the time that he spent at United, but for United to move forward and to move on, I think a new keeper is something that is necessary. I'm sure there are bigger problems on the pitch, but I am one of those people that think the keeper is one of those bigger problems. Some may disagree. United do have the budget, I think. It's just whether it's allowed to be used. Go on, John.
Yeah, I think it's well documented the issues with De Gea, in terms of ball distribution and coming off his line. That's been his issue for, a number of years now, unfortunately. I think, obviously, Ten Hag has a big decision to make because I think you can see why Henderson would suit the system more. And in terms of his distribution, that kind of thing, I think his relationship with Liverpool will be better. But then you got the big problem: can you really have Henderson and De Gea being the number 1 and 2 next season? So by that default, it's going to be very hard to sell De Gea with the wages he's on, and that's why there's talk they'll get the contract, so I think that's probably more likely than him leaving. So that leaves, what do you do with Henderson? So for me, you can't allow Henderson to be the number 2 for another season, and I think there's talk of him going out on loan and that kind of thing. And I personally think, if you're gonna keep that, if Ten Hag is going to make De Gea's number 1, you've got to allow Henderson to go elsewhere. There's so maybe Newcastle might offer 40 million for him potentially. Is that really an offer that can be refused? I'm sure it is, but at the very least, he has to go out on loan if De Gea is going to be the number 1. But I personally think I'm not completely sold Henderson is right long term, or else I've not seen enough of him to suggest that. I think obviously he played a few games last season, that kind of thing. He would need a stint in the side, but I'm not sure he's going to get it. So, and I think if he is to go, then you're potentially having to look at buying another first choice goalkeeper within a year or 2. So, but like I say, Ten Hag's got a big decision to make.
Yeah, my worry is we're letting the wrong goalkeeper go. What do you reckon, Mr. Tom? Do you agree with Neil?
Yeah, man. Stu made a lot of good points as well. Look, I don't want it to intertwine my questions as well. So basically, it's very simple, and it comes down to probably the manager's priority in area, and he probably might think he can get away with it for a year or 2. Probably a year at most, because I remember under LVG wanted to replace him, and I know, and that's a fact. And that's why, I don't know if people remember, LVG never used to get him to kick it out of the back. He used to make Blind go next to him, so he dropped the ball to Blind, and then Blind used to play at the back, or even it was Jones. So, do you know what I mean? Keepers managers that want keepers to play ball. And Van Gaal was one of them. He didn't want his keeper to do that because he didn't trust him to do that. And it's quite telling. He got 2 keepers after that. Obviously, there was the Valdez situation, and then we got what's his name, Romero after. But obviously, things happen, and Jose coming in. Jose made sort of funny comments as well about David as well, like funny comments. He's just been lucky that there's not been a probably strong manager to come in and be like, you not my goalkeeper. You're not my number 1. So I definitely think that chapter is soon gonna come to an end, man. It's modern football. It's an era. Everyone sees that the top teams and what their keepers do for them. Ralph has alluded to it. Their keepers are like an extra man at the back. It's common sense, man. His days, unfortunately, is coming to an end. Even though he has been a decent servant for us, I wouldn't say, spectacular, because there's not enough trophies for me to say that. But he's been a decent servant for us. And
I'd argue that's probably why he's been a better servant, though, to be fair. The fact that he likely could have gone elsewhere and didn't, for whatever reason, I guess. But
machine, innit?
well, yeah, exactly. Ahmed, what do you reckon, mate?
Goalkeepers are a weird breed.
Also, before you carry on, Ahmed, quick congratulations to James Garner at Forest.
Yeah, congratulations.
He got to the finals. Congratulations.
Yeah, great. But get credit to the keeper, man. He made 3 fantastic saves, Samba.
Good.
And
Talking of goalkeepers, that Forest keeper's a good keeper.
Yeah, you like him, though.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a big.
Nice
He's good with his feet.
Yeah,
Would you
he's
have him
good
at
as
United?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind that Forest keeper at United. I tell you what, he's a proper keeper. He's great with his feet as well.
Yeah,
He was brilliant in the penalty.
Sell both DeGea and Henderson to get him in.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't go that far, boys. Let's temper our expectations. We do need one decent guy in the net. But listen, look, he did well tonight. And credit to Forest, one on to James Garner. But to stay on topic, yeah, Henderson, I've been saying for a while now, really needs a proper crack at it in the goal for United. But you can't drop DeGea. So I find it extremely difficult to see a reason as to why you would drop him in the first place. Other than his amazing ability when shot stopping. The only other concern I have with, deciding who would be the better fit in goal next season is whether Ten Hag will observe De Gea during preseason and think whether he's capable of handling the stress or the ability to play with his feet more than he should be doing already. And as Stu has said, I have been on the shows before, as Stu said, he's got concerns about him playing out from the back, which obviously worries whoever's playing in front of him. But I do think Henderson deserves a crack. I don't mind a brash goalkeeper. I don't mind a keeper who's always going to give it 100% no matter what. And he's unorthodox. He is nothing more than unorthodox. So I've got nothing against him. Making a decision to move on if he feels like he wants to move on. But if he believes he can be number one next season, I definitely think he should be given the crack by Ten Hag. And yeah, can't add more to that other than to what you guys have said already. Just hope that Ten Hag considers him in pre-season.
Yeah, nice one, mate. This comment irked me a little bit. Manchester City have a great goalkeeper, but he doesn't make great saves as often as De Gea does. We're starting to forget what a goalkeeper's main job is. Yeah, it's a shot stop, which we've already said he's good at, but he's also not as good anymore from earlier on in the season. And just to add to that point, City do have a great goalkeeper who doesn't make great saves as often as De Gea because he doesn't have to, because the defence actually does the job. Anyway, thanks for your point, though. Mr. Tom, go on. What's your topic you bring into the table tonight?
So topic I've got is basically this is what does Erik Ten Hag's sort of tactics and style looks like if he doesn't get the right profile of players? Is it going to be like like Chelsea's manager? Because anyone that knows about Tuchel knows that he plays the attacking brand at PSG, he played the attacking brand at Dortmund, and he normally often played far at the back. Came to Chelsea, had to change it up because the players or personnel that he will probably normally have at his disposal are not there. And Van Gaal, if you remember his first teams, was switched it. He was doing 3 at the back and all of that because he didn't have. What's that going to look like stage 1 for us? Because I know fans are excited and seeing this Ajax team and whatever, but that's final form for them. Do you understand? For us, what does it look like if he doesn't get the players that he needs to create that sort of style on the pitch in the first season?
I'm the host and it's my show, so I'm going first on that one. I think his tactics won't be able to be employed perfectly. I don't think that'll be the case completely anyway, because I don't think he'll get a finalised squad of what he'll want for a little while anyway. I think we'll be able to play some kind of brand of football that he wants, but it won't be the perfect article quite yet. I think he will have to slightly adapt if he doesn't get the players he wants. He'll have to adapt, and unfortunately, I wonder if that. And I hope it doesn't lead to his downfall, because he's been let down by the owners again. You know, that's 3-4 managers that have been let down by owners. So let's hope that Ten Hag isn't another one. But yeah, Stu, what do you think?
Do you know, it's a funny one, really, because me and Neil have had a disagreement on tactics in the past, and
Really, did we?
yeah, I didn't quite get my message. I think so. Yeah, I didn't quite get my point across. Really, I didn't articulate it well, but I made a point on a show months ago, didn't I, Neil, about sometimes in a game tactics are irrelevant, and Neil kind of like pointed out, not really, you know, and Neil saw it differently to me. But the problem with tactics in any game of football is you start off with all the best intentions to play the way that you've been told to, but as the game evolves, they just go out the fucking window half the time. I mean, I played in loads of games where, you know, we've been told to do this and that, but you've identified as a player yourself what works and doesn't work on a pitch, and that's the problem with tactics. And this is why I kind of get a little bit not irate about it, but I don't really subscribe to the tactics theory all the time, because it's, you know, it's very difficult to play in a certain formation all the time. I was listening to Thomas Frank. I don't know if any of you listened to his post-match comments after they beat who was it? 3-2. Everton. Yeah, he was saying, he was saying that they started out in a 4-3-3, but after the first goal went in, he had to change it. So he changed his attack into a 3-5-2, and he said he did that in game. Now, most managers don't have the foresight to do it. B, won't listen to what the players are trying to say, and so they stumble through a match. So for me, tactics is all about being reactive during a match and allowing the players. And this is where he's very, very good, by the way, Ten Hag. He's excellent at allowing the players to express themselves. And when you're allowed to express yourselves as a team, as an individual, it allows you to be a bit more free-flowing during the match. But going back to Mr. Ton's question, which I think is a brilliant point, and I don't think anybody's thought about it, I think you're right. I think he'll be stifled if he can't get 3 of the 6 players he knows he needs to start implementing what he wants to do. That's how I look at it. So I think it's a great point, actually. It's something I haven't considered. I've got to be honest. I think it's a great point, but I just
it's something we might need
to
consider.
Look at that in tactics, really. It's a funny one. It's just my own opinion, and it's just a funny one, really.
John, what about you?
Yeah, right.
Sorry, before John goes, I want to bring a point up, because I don't know if anyone's seen the interview that Steve McCurran done with his son, right? So, and he was talking about Ten Hag, and Ten Hag's done something for a long time, you know, play 50 yards away from the goal and stuff like that. That's what I was talking about. So if he doesn't get the players, but you got to take those things into consideration. So for the viewers that don't watch Ten Hag or watch Alex or seen any of his teams play, in the opposition's half, he normally has 8 to 9 players at a time. Yeah, that's a lot of players, especially in the Prem. So imagine you not having your personnel. That I just want to explore to the rest of the panel saying that.
Basically, what you're saying, mate, is Harry Maguire is not the centre back.
I'm just talking about everybody in general. Like,
that's what I heard, and I think you're 100% right. John, what did you think?
Sorry, yeah. Basically, I mean, I was on the show with Benny on Saturday. We talked about tactics, just like what Stu was saying, that, tactics evolve during the game, and particularly when you're attacking, I know your players don't remain in the same position throughout the game. They're constantly moving, and especially when you're in possession, you look for space and that kind of thing. And tactics is mainly to ensure that you're in a structure really to work effective defensively when you're out of possession. Then when you look to attack, you can find spaces and that kind of thing. For me, what the thing that you're looking most for, where we've been lacking this season, is that you don't have enough vocal players on the pitch when players are constantly being out of position and that kind of thing. And you need people to say, right, let's suck in and that kind of thing. Obviously, when you think of Ten Hag, he's got Van de Beek down, knows what kind of style he likes to play and what he expects. It's possibly why, with the rumours, everything about DeGea, from Barca, this is why he's probably trying to get so hard to get him in, because he again understands what is expected of them, and also Timber as well. And I think what he mentioned was a few weeks back was when the only error he feels that Pep Guardiola ever made was he underestimated the physicality of the English game in his first season, and then he rectified it in his second summer. I think this is what he'll try and do, physical, but people on the pitch who know what's expected of them, how he wishes to play, but also to ensure that if players are out of position, you need more leaders to be able to to basically ensure people remain in position, that kind of thing, and they're, bollocking each other if you're not performing to your highest standard. And that's where we've gone massively wrong this season. I personally think that if he doesn't get those plays, it will be a struggle for him, but hopefully he will get the plays he requires, and then hopefully then we will see some improvement on the pitch.
Neil, what do you reckon?
I think he's going to make the best he can with what he can only do the best he can with what's in front of him at the moment. So I think the first team squad, or whatever we want to call it at the moment, I think are going to be in for a shock in terms of the way he wants to play. I'm sort of quite relaxed about what he's going to implement the club, because I still think it's going to be 2 or 3 proper transfer windows before he can get the right players in. I think that's the time I'd start looking at the shape and the how we're set up. I'm not. It's a good point to make, but it's not one. I think there's bigger worries at the moment within the club. So it is a good point. I'd have never come up with something as smart as that, but I think it's going to take some time for all this to fall into place.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, like I say, I think that the main sort of point we need to take from it really is he might not get everything he needs, especially this summer, maybe even January. I genuinely think that more patience is simply just going to be needed from the fan base. I think it's going to be needed from every ounce of and part of Man United, unfortunately. It's all well and good that we want to win everything all the time, but we had our football's a cycle. It'll come back, I'm sure, one day. At this stage, it is our turn to be patient and hope that Ten Hag can turn everything round, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll see that. I think that's everybody. Ahmed, what's your topic, mate? Bear in mind, we've got 12 minutes left, so let's fire through your and so we can get to John's as well, mate.
Yeah, I don't think this one will take particularly long, because it's really, I might have really just given up my answer earlier, but it's more of a general, like general think about what would be a significant achievement under Ten Hag next season. Obviously, we've talked about what he needs, what adjustments he has to make. We've seen the movements behind the scenes and on the bench. So we've seen all the technical aspects of United starting to make a significant change. Obviously, we've seen the movements. We've seen the leeches, I would say, of the club gone. The main leeches responsible for everything going wrong. The next step, I feel now, is in terms of next season, what on the pitch would constitute a successful season next season. So I don't know. I want to hear what you guys are first before I tell you my ones.
So what would constitute what would constitute success for next season, Stu? What do you think would be success? What would you be satisfied with?
Well, look. The only success in any football team should be winning the league. Anything after that is a bit of a non-event. So we're not going to win the league. I think that's be fair. So we're not going to have what we would all claim to be a successful season. For me, it would be all about seeing where we are in 6 months' time, seeing what's happened within the club, how the progression has gone, and then judging it towards the end of the season. It's not what people want to hear. Fans want, well, success is the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup or the Europa Conference or whatever we're going to be in. To me, that isn't success. Success is getting the right foundations, starting to get the right players in and starting to get the club on a better footing as to what it is today and what it was. It's been the last 9 years. So it's very easy to say trophies, but for me, success is about methodically planning and improving the process. Oh, and add in a sprinkle of common sense.
For me, success would be seeing some youngsters led into the squad. I'd want to see Ten Hag inflict his, I don't really like the word, but philosophy onto the players and the players taking it on board. I'd like to see the players give a bit more effort. That would be success. I think ultimately after this season, our expectations have been completely shattered. And I think we're all very disappointed. So I think success for me would be a few of the younger lads coming through, some decent signings, the structure being fixed, and just some kind of progress in the playing squad. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I will completely echo those thoughts. I think you do want to see an identity, I hate the word, but philosophy, that way you begin to see the makings of a playing style, how he is going to go forwards, that kind of thing. And I hope that in some games next season, hopefully we can, dominate a few games. I'm not going to put a number on it, but if you can have a few performances where you're like, that was a very good performance today, that kind of thing. And I'd like to see us compete a bit more against the better teams as well. Obviously we got battered by City and Liverpool this season. So, I'm not saying go and beat them, but, just try and compete with them when you're playing them, kind of thing. And but obviously, so as ambition, it would be nice to get in the Champions League the following season. Maybe if we're in the Europa League, maybe we can do well in that, hopefully. But yeah, but I think mainly just to see the makings of a playing style, and just to see us, play well in a few games, and where you can begin to see progress within a couple of years or so.
Ahmed, what about you?
Well, the reason I bring up the question is because of how uncertain.
Oh, it was your frigging question, wasn't it? Sorry,
yeah,
mate.
it was. That's why I brought it up. Simple, realistic options win the Europa League. I do still think
We've got to get in it first.
Well, that's the point. Win on Sunday, then get in it. That's the first goal.
Win.
I think we need to
real?
achieve. Win. Yeah, win it, because we're not.
I meant win against Palace.
Well, yeah, win on Sunday, then win the Europa League, because I don't think getting top four next season is all that easy. We don't have it exactly in our own remit to be able to achieve it against the likes of Tottenham, Chelsea, and if Arsenal do strengthen the Gunners themselves. So, looking at it from that perspective, I genuinely feel we have to win that competition, like we did in 2021. We put our eggs in the basket towards the end. Obviously, we had the cushion of finishing second in the Premier League. That would be a great bonus. But winning the Europa League should be the outset. So win on Sunday, and that's already one part of the job done. The next job, get to the final. The second thing I think for Stoke constitute a successful season is to get to a domestic final. We haven't been to Wembley now since 2020, or haven't been to a final since 2017. We should really aim to get to at least an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup final. But the FA Cup, we only need to win 5 games to get there. And the replays were removed, I think, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah, you only have got to win 5 games. I don't exactly see how it's too difficult for United to win that competition. So, one of the 2 domestic finals is a minimum, in my opinion, because we can't keep missing chances there. And a lot of what Neil said, Neil and Stuart said would apply here too. I think seeing Ten Hag's method of management, of tactics and coaching start to be implemented in the squad. So we see a mentality switch from a team that gives up after 75 minutes into a team that goes to the very end, even in the most difficult situations. Under Ollie, we saw that a lot, where United, despite getting into hard and what looks like difficult scenarios, managed to find ways out of them. Unfortunately, this season it didn't transpire that way. So I want to see that mentality switch. I want to see United have a plan B for scenarios when they're in that position, and to get out of problems like going 2-0 down away from home to near bottom of the team sides next season. Could be Forest or Huddersfield if we're doing next season the way things are going there. But yeah, those are my realistic hopes for next season. And hopefully, if all being well, I'll get to win the lottery next year. So,
can I just add to that quickly? If we went and we won the Europa League, I don't think we're equipped or wouldn't be equipped to challenge for the Champions League. That's my only doubt about that. Now, people will look at me and think, what are you talking about? We should be, winning the Europa, but you've got to look beyond it, haven't you? That's my only doubt about that.
I don't disagree with you, Stu. I think that United are simply not cut out to be in the last 4 or the finals of the Champions League, because they don't have that, the ability to get over the line during clutch matches. So in my honest opinion, you are very right. I think United do need to sort of nurture themselves in that competition. And this is what I mean by this. Europa League should be a piece of piss. You shouldn't exactly be concerned about that competition. If we went to the Conference League, we should play the youth. But I'm not thinking about that. We shouldn't even consider it.
Mr. Tom, give us your thoughts dead quickly, and then we're going to finish with John's point.
For me, I've always said there's 3 stages, right? Stage 1, foundations. Stage 2, competing. Stage 3, winning. And in stage 1, right, you got philosophy, ethos, ideology, and implementation. And I can go on, but those are the stage 1. So if I'm come to the end of the season and I've seen all of those things, the culture as well, and I've seen all of those things, and I've seen a sort of style of play now, I'm happy. Like I said, stage 2, competing. Stage 3, winning. For me, that's how I'm pointing up. I'm going all days, different branches, but just keep it moving.
I think that's a really good way to actually clarify all that, actually. Like, just breaking it down to 3 points. Really good, that, Mr. Tom, mate. Appreciate that one. Right, I think we're ending on a slightly nice topic, actually, from if I've got the right topic, that is, John. Go on, bring yours up, mate.
Yeah, my topic quite simply is something very light-hearted. What is your favourite United goal that you've seen live?
Oh,
Stu, you've
I didn't hear that. I missed that bit.
What's your
live at
favourite United goal you've seen live?
Neil knows mine. I wonder if you can remember it, Neil.
Ooh, is it Mark Hughes?
Sheffield United away.
Oh, Eric.
That chip.
In the wind.
Yeah, that chip.
Blowing like a howling wind.
See, most people don't remember that goal, do they? They think about the Cantona chip is the one against Sunderland at Old Trafford.
Sunderland one, yeah.
It was the most amazing chip because
that was an amazing goal.
The goalkeeper was on the 6-yard line, or maybe 4 yards off his line. It was an
outrageous goal.
It was unbelievable.
So it's my favourite goal. It really is my favourite goal. There's loads of them you could choose, but that's my favourite.
Do you know, one of my favourite ones is quite a strange one, actually. We just signed him And at the time, I thought he was a cracking signing. Do you remember when we beat Arsenal 8-2?
6.
Actually,
8-2 at our place.
Yeah, in 2011, I was at that game. And I can't remember if it was his first or his second, but Ashley Young scored an absolute peach of a curler of a ball. It went right in the top corner. It was a brilliant goal. And I remember cheering for that and just going, wow, what a stunning goal that was. Do you know what? I'm probably a bit like you, Stu, to be honest. I've been to that many games over the years. I probably couldn't even think. It's like when someone asks you what your favourite song is and you forget every single musician that you've ever heard of. But off the top of my head, I'll go with that one. I think. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Ahmed, what about you? What's your favourite goal you've seen live?
Non-United, it would be. I have to because I literally saw a bare owner. I think it's Son from 30 yards against West Ham. The bend on it, stunning goal. It was at Wembley as well, so I remember that one very well. If it's United, and Herrera against Spurs semi-final of the FA Cup, I remember the ball being laid off to him and him absolutely lashing it under Michel Vorm. And it was a stunning hit. I don't think I was any happier at the time to see him score that goal. And it was look, because I saw it live. It was a fantastic strike. And yeah, probably one of my best United goals I've seen with my own eyes. So yeah, Herrera.
Very nice. Mr. Tom, what about you, mate?
There's been loads, literally loads. But there's one that I would say, I can't remember the exact game. And it was Ibra, Martial, and Pogba on the pitch. And then I think Ibra scored. And I just remember, because it was exciting time, we bought, I think, 4 players or 5 players that summer. But the way that they played that time and just passed the ball back, I think it was one of the best sort of interchanges that I've seen. I just remember Martial, Pogba, and Ibra being involved in that goal. I forgot the game, though.
Oh, yeah, I remember that goal. She was cracking that. Who've not asked? Neil, go on. What about you?
I was at Villa Park.
Ah.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
The Skulls one.
No, I was there for that one as well.
No, you're going Lee Sharp,
I was
aren't
there
you?
for Giggs.
No, I
Giggs.
think he's thinking about a certain goal.
Oh,
Giggs,
you were that.
Giggs
Oh, my
against
God.
Giggs. Giggs
Yeah,
against
you can't
On the run.
you can't forget Beckham's one from that game as well.
Beckham's was a great goal, but Giggs. And the weird thing was, if VAR had been around in those days, we would have gone through in the first leg because I went to the first tie. Scholes scored and it was flagged offside and he was about a yard on.
Yeah, it was onside as well.
The Giggs goal at Villa. I was also at Villa when Scholes scored that volley. And then Nani's goal against Chelsea when he cut in on his left foot and stuck it in the top corner. I remember that one because I'd had chemo the day before and I was sick as a dog. But when Torres did the terrible miss, but Giggs at Villa Park, that's it.
That game, that Torres one. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take my answer back, actually, because I've just remembered another game that I was at. The Portsmouth game when Ronaldo scored that free kick.
Oh, you were there for that?
That was mental. I remember saying in the crowd, I was only young, I remember going, he's not going to shoot from here. He's going to hit the wall or he'll blast it over.
I was also at the Emirates. I was also at the Emirates when Ronaldo scored that free kick in the European Cup against them.
Oh, yeah. The commentator literally said those words as well.
Yeah, he said he can't shoot from here, and he did. They were brilliant that day. That was probably one of the best performances I've ever seen from a United team.
I've seen a few great. I saw Tellers this season against Villarreal. That was a great goal. The best one I actually saw was actually a Community Shield against City. You remember Nani, and there was a great team goal around the edge of the area. And that I was in the stand. I was like, my gosh, what a goal that was! And I saw. I'll tell you, I did see Giggs' free kick against Bolton. It was the first game we played after we sold Beckham. It was Ronaldo's debut. And Giggs scored a free kick, which went in off the post. That was another classic goal.
I thought I might have gone for Sharpie's goal under the lights at Villa Park, Neil. It wasn't a brilliant goal. It was just the whole game. The atmosphere was unbelievable.
I was at Goodison when Sharp scored that volley.
Was you?
I was at that game because when he that one, he was stood in the D, wasn't he? And he just dropped,
Yeah.
dropped back and slammed it in. I thought I broke a rib that day. Everybody was going mental. That was brilliant goal, that was.
Of course, I was in the cop. Sorry, Cal. I was in the cop in '88 when Gordon Strachan scored the equaliser. Went like that to the cop. What a goal!
I was actually. I used to work the
Mate, this is the last point, John.
I didn't see it live, but I have a friend who was there for Rooney's overhead kick against City.
Wow.
Well, I'm just going to finish on something I've seen in the comments. Is Man United getting to the Conference League next season? It's a humiliation for our season. United should not be in that competition, and I don't want to see us in it. And it's nothing about accepting us being in it. We shouldn't be in that absolute garbage competition. That is a money-making scheme for UEFA. Anyway, I'm going to finish there. Thanks to the panel for tonight. Lots of great points made. Very happy with tonight. Always glad to have these guys on with me. Just going to finish on. I just want to remind everyone, if you go to my pinned tweet, there is a link, a charity link. I'm sure the lads there will all retweet it for me as well. It's a charity match going on in my local area. If you want to donate to it, it's for a good friend of mine. His father passed away a couple of years ago. So it'd be nice if you could all donate any help. We'd all be really appreciative of it. Unfortunately, the game isn't going to be televised, but I'll tell you how brilliantly I play after it, I'm sure.
I'll come to it, Cal.
Yeah, John can come to it.
I'll write a report.
It's down the road from John, so I'm sure John will be there. He'll buy a ticket for us. But yeah, if you can all donate, it's my pinned tweet. Just click on the link. If you can spare anything, I'd be really appreciative of it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the show tonight. Lots of good points, like I say. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. Tweet us, keep commenting. We all really appreciate your support. Cheers, guys. Thanks to everybody again.